Well, it was really nice back in January to have both of you come along and work with me in Worcester after getting to work with you all around the place, Matt, with you around the world as well. So coming back to Worcester and getting to work with you on an awesome event like Light Night was great fun.
It really was. Yeah, it was such a great event to be a part of. It's really nice to see smaller cities like Worcester put on such a huge event, such an ambitious event.
Yeah, honestly, it was really impressive to see an event of that scale in somewhere like Worcester. The amount of interaction throughout all of the installations just made for a visually, like an aesthetically pleasing shot, as well as just people enjoying themselves, because there was a real awe of wonder of what Light Night had put on with these installations. People really didn't know what to expect, and there was that, regardless of what age they were, there was that intrigue, that because people didn't know what to expect. What's going to happen from this thing that I'm touching here, this light? What is the trigger? What's going to go on? And just seeing people kind of both confused and then really excited by what's happening, it just made for really easy, beautiful imagery, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was universally fun for people of all ages, almost like a magic trick. It's you've got that sense of wonder and awe and excitement, intrigue.
All of us know about the challenges of preparing for kind of capturing live events, and obviously earlier on in the day, it was raining, and it was looking like it was gonna rain. But I think in the end, it worked in our favour for some of the imagery we got.
Yeah, the glossy streets around the Elgar statue, they really gave a really nice reflection from the rain with the seesaws, light up seesaws. I think that was made for some very nice symmetry in our shots.
When we first started at the the start of the parade, and then just seeing the scale and the amount of people that turned up, I don't think any of us were expecting that at all. We all just kind of looked at each other and were like, okay, is this all of Worcester? Is everyone here? And logistically, it made it very difficult. But to be honest, it was just incredible. You just kind of work with it. You have to roll with it. You have to roll with the punches. You just decide, okay, this is going to be chaos, but it's going to be fun.
We did the walkthrough earlier on in the day, didn't we? And kind of saw a bit of the route. But I think when we turned up at the Hive, we just realised how challenging it was going to be for us to also be in that space with the performers and move through the crowds of people.
I know you, James, and Rav, you were both kind of at the front, just sticking with the main kind of angle. But I was tasked, thank you, James, for basically trying to get a variety of shots. And a lot of that meant falling behind the parade and thinking, okay, how am I going to get back in front or next to? And basically, there was a lot of ducking and diving. I'm sure James has a lot of footage of me still with the camera on, ducking and diving between people, trying to not get hit by umbrellas. That was the biggest challenge of them all, not getting hit by umbrellas. A few things like the bridge shots, which was immediately after the main meet at the Hive. And we'd recce it once. I said, yeah, that'll be fine. That's great. The stairs, it's fine. I'll find it. Turns out when you put a couple of thousand people in that area, it's quite hard to find those stairs. So that was panic-inducing. But we got the shot. I think James used the shot.
Yeah, I used it in the edit. Great. It was the one I was after, so it was great.
Perfect. At the Elgar statue and the cathedral, where it was kind of the final gathering of the drummers and the umbrellas, it was the seesaw installation right there as well. And one of the things I had to do was basically look around and go, oh, I'll get up on that balcony. And I just had to go through a sea of people and make it all the way up there. And people were very nice. They were like, oh, no, you're part of the event, film away. But there were so many people there filming on their phones, filming on cameras they brought along as well. And just looking down at that moment and seeing how many people were there from that vantage point.
It was great for you to get up there and get that perspective as well, because I think me and Rav had a slightly different challenge of the angles we were limited to, because of how close we were to the performers at the front of the parade. We had the crowds right just behind our shoulders, basically, which meant that we had to find kind of angles, pretty close to the performers in the end. So
Yes, yeah, it was pretty challenging. I think technically that was probably the greatest challenge, was because of how close we were to the action, what was going on, not just the performers, but also the people who were interacting with the performers. It was quite difficult to get in as much of the frame as we needed to really show off the scale of the event and show off what was happening. And I mean, this was more of a technical difficulty. You require quite specialist equipment to capture that sort of really dimly lit scene with fast movement. So you have to have quite a fast aperture lens and obviously super wide, so you can get everything in. So it's a very, very specific equipment that you need to sort of capture it in the way that we did. And I think both of us were on a wide angle lens. It's a little bit different, I think, for video because you can lower the shutter speed, but I think for fast motion, especially with the drummers and the dancing that was going on, and just to sort of capture that split second reaction when people are awed by what they're seeing, or they're really, that moment where they sort of you see that expression on their faces. To capture that moment, you need quite a fast shutter speed, and you can only really do that with a very fast lens. So I was using a 20mm 1.4 lens, which most people don't use for anything other than sort of astrophotography, for taking pictures of the night sky, or really low lit events like this was.
It just kind of whisked you away, I think. The whole event, the amount of energy, the amount of stuff we wanted to capture. It's the first time I felt that at an event, especially when working. It's a nice thing to say when working, is that I don't know what time it is, but I want to keep on doing this. Really unique feeling, actually.
It really did fly by, didn't it?
We definitely got swept up by the energy of the night as well, and I think that's something when I came to edit the video that I wanted to kind of get across was the, well, it was also kind of reflecting the pace and the energy of the night for us, capturing it, I suppose, as well, a little bit.
Like you said, the amount of energy in that video really does reflect the amount of energy we expended running around the place. But also of all the performances, especially the drummers as well. Such a high octane sort of performance, both with the physical drumming themselves and like the little sketch things and the choreography that went along with it. It was, it definitely made us sweat.
So it was a perfect blend of sort of reactive and proactive, as well as the tight brief, but also the freedom to fulfill it however we saw fit artistically.
It was something really refreshing to see. It's refreshing from all points of view. Like visually, it was really incredible to see. It was refreshing that the fun, so much funding is going towards these sorts of projects that kind of unleashes people's creativity, both locally and nationally as well.
Yeah, I just can't wait to be back behind a camera again, to be honest. I'm looking forward to when we can get back to, actually being there behind a camera at an event, capturing those moments, as you say.
Absolutely.